Hello beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. Pots and Petals here, everything garden and allotment related. It's Saturday morning and we're in for quite a nice day today. The sun is out, there's a few clouds in the sky, but the problem is we have got one hell of a wind. So I am going to try and film what I can, but that is why I'm in the shed at the moment. It's rather mild as well. We're sort of talking 12, 13 degrees today, and bearing in mind it's almost Christmas, I think climate change has got something to say about that. But yes, we're down here, there's no rest for the wicked, even over the Christmas, Easter, you name it, we still keep going down here at the garden. So there's a few jobs I'd like to get done today. The main one is I need to harvest the vegetables for the Christmas dinner. So we'll go round and we'll pick those up so that we can take those home today with us. And then the other three jobs that I'd like to do. Number one, we have got the grapevine up in the fruit cage, and that is due for a good old trim because we've got so many vines on that and it is sprawling all over the place. So given that we've got some mild weather over the next week or so, I am going to get in there and give that a good old prune. Then the other two jobs, we've got the compost heaps down at the front of the plot. Now, I haven't turned these for a good 12 months and you really should keep on top of the turning. So I'm going to get in there, give those a real good turnover and see what compost we can find at the bottom of them. And then the other job is to get the polyhouse bench painted. So we put one coat on it, I think last weekend. So I would like to try and get one more coat on that before the new year. So if we've got time, that is the last job of the day. Now the rest of the plot is looking absolutely beautiful. You don't really get the weeds growing this time of year. We're giving a lot of the beds a really good mulch and all of the paths are mulched with the wood chip as well. We've got a little bit left to do, but not a huge amount. So I think I'm going to leave that until 2024. But yeah, the plot is looking ace at the moment. So there's not a huge amount to do this time of year. And I was worrying come December, January, February, what I'd be getting out in my videos to you guys. But no, we've still got loads of bits and bobs to be doing. So you know the drill, guys. I'm going to go and have a quick cup of coffee, warm myself up, and then we'll pop into the fruit cage and start with this grapevine. So here we've got my main grapevine in the fruit cage. I should probably say vines because it's sprawling all over the place. But this is an outdoor variety. It's a white grape, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what the name of this variety is. But this plant is only 2 years old, and all of these vines that are coming off this main stem is all from this year's growth. So it's done really well in this corner. Grapevines love free drainage and they love lots of sunlight as well, especially in the spring and the summer when those grapes are forming, which I think is why this plant absolutely loves this spot. And you'll also find that people do try to keep the root ball, the bottom of the plant, in the shade just to keep it cool and ensure there's lots of moisture in there, especially when the grapes are starting to grow. So because this is the first year that I've had to prune my grape, I've done lots of research and they say that the best time to prune them is between November to January when the plant is in its dormant phase. If you start pruning too early or a little bit too late, the plant can start to bleed out sap, which will weaken and damage the plant. You also don't want it to be too cold or particularly frosty, so if you are in a really cold area you might want to wait until really early spring. As I say, it's the first year that I've pruned this plant because they do say for the first year or so allow it just to sprawl out and put on as much growth as possible because it's going to be growing that beautiful root ball underneath, and the bigger that root ball, the more nutrients and the more water that plant is going to be able to get. As you can see, this is the main stem of the vine and we've got several shoots coming off it. Now you don't want to keep all of these vines coming off this main stem because the plant isn't going to be able to keep up with spreading all of the nutrients and the energy over so many vines, and this is why we prune our grapes. If we were to leave this, we'd get much smaller grapes next year, and the plant might even drop the fruit as it wouldn't be able to keep up with all of the energy that the plant would need. So by pruning the plant can focus all of that energy just on either 1, 2 or maybe 3 vines, and that's going to result in a much healthier, stronger plant, but also much bigger grapes and a bigger yield too. So we're just going to start by removing the 3Ds, so dead, dying, diseased vines, and then we can start to pick the healthiest vines to keep for next year. Now they do say just to keep 1 or 2 main stems, but I'm going to try 3 and try my luck and see how we get on. But I want them to be as evenly spaced as possible just to allow all of that airflow, especially in the spring and summer when this will all be in leaf. Now you should know what vines you're going to keep, and you can start removing everything that you no longer need. Now you can be as brutal as you want, because this plant will bounce back very vigorously next year with loads of new growth. So come on, let's give this a good old trim up. Okay, and there we have it. It is looking a little bit bare, I'm not going to lie. And with some of these prunings, we're going to take some hardwood cuttings just to see if we can get some extra plants for next year to give away. Now, from my research, I believe that these shoots should carry next year's grapes. Well, I'm hoping so anyway. If I've done anything wrong, please just mention it down in the comments, because like I say, this is my first time, but I have done plenty of research. Now, any vines coming off these 3 main vines that I've kept, I've cut down to just 1 or 2 buds, and hopefully we're going to get grapes growing from those buds too. So I guess now it's just a wait and see, but I'm glad I've got this job done. So now what we're going to do is just go and pot up these grape cuttings. So we've taken quite a few hardwood cuttings lately. We've done a few of the currant bushes, we've done the gooseberries, and now we're going to try the grapes. So just as usual, we're going to make the bottom cut just below one of these buds, and then we're going to do the same at the top, but this time we're just going to go above a bud. You want these to be 6 to 8 inches long, and just get some standard compost in a pot, and you want to be pushing these down the side of the pots into the compost. Now with a grapevine, it's important that you're putting them into the soil the right way, otherwise they're not going to root. So you want your buds to be pointing upwards when you're pushing them down into the soil. Now I have just stuck these in a little bit of rooting powder, but I don't put them in water because I find with hardwood cuttings they can rot away. So I've just dunked them in a little bit of the rooting powder and then straight into this compost. We're just going to give them a little water, and I'll pop them in the polyhouse just for a little bit of extra protection. So you can see I've neglected both of these heaps for quite a while, but from memory, the last bin that I emptied was the one on the right hand side, so I do really need to try and empty this left one. Now I was going to try and leave it because there was a wasp nest in here, and it's just in case the queen was hibernating in the nest, I could have left it alone, but this bin should be really full of lovely nutrient-rich compost, so I'm going to give it a dig over and see what we can find. Now I've only removed just a couple of inches of the top layer, and already I can see lots of crumbly compost that we're going to be able to use. So I'm going to fill up a few barrow loads now, and then we'll see if we can fill up a couple of beds with some of this stuff. And then a bit like what we've done with the wood chip paths, I'm just going to do a bit at a time. Every time I come down here we can fill a few more beds up with some of this compost, which will see it over until the springtime. So I got a hamper from work and it came with all of this straw-like material, so I've just dumped it on top of the dahlia just to give it a little bit more protection, just with a little bit of compost as well, just to weigh it down for over winter. Right, so the most important job is getting the veggies to take home for the roast dinner. So we've got carrots, parsnips, and we've also got some kale to take home, and I think we've got some onion and garlic still left over at home for the roast beef, and we've also got some potatoes for the roasties as well. Now we'd normally have some Brussels sprouts and some cabbage as well, but I just didn't grow any brassicas this year. I missed the boat, so that is something that I want to do next year, because homegrown sprouts are something else. So come on, let's get all these little bits together and get them home. So there we go, we've got some beautiful carrots here, we've got some massive parsnips and also a bit of kale, and I just like to saute that down with some of the bacon bits that you can get. It's absolutely beautiful on a roast. So we'll take these guys home, give them a good old scrub up and get them ready for the Christmas dinner. So don't worry guys, I'm not going to make you sit through another coat of paint. You already saw the first lot go on. So I'm just going to give this another little coat just to protect it from the water when I'm watering these plants. And then probably in the new year I'll give it one more. And there we go guys, that is its second coat done, and I just love this vibrant yellow. It brings a little bit of colour into the polyhouse. So that is all we've got time for today, folks. We've managed to get a few jobs done down here, and the most important job, we managed to get the vegetables all sorted ready for Christmas Day. So we'll be taking those home with us. It's just a shame that I haven't got any of the brassicas, so I will definitely be doing that next year. And also one thing that I will be doing in the new year is doing the apple trees, because finally the leaves seem to have dropped off the trees. So they'll definitely be in their dormant phase, so we can give those a good old prune. So today is Christmas Eve's Eves, 2 more sleeps and Santa will come with a couple of presents for us all, I'm sure. But if you're not a celebrator, I do hope you have a lovely couple of days just to relax, unwind and do whatever you want to do for those couple of days. But the rest of you, I hope you have a very happy, merry Christmas. But I will see you at some point between Christmas and the New Year, because I do want to get down here and get a few jobs done. If you do want to give me a little present for Christmas, just hit that subscribe button and don't forget to get down in the comments below, because I love to hear from you all. So yes, have a very Merry Christmas everyone, and I'll see you very soon. So take care, see you later, bye bye.